what I want to show you here today is the inside look at how I've gone and scaled a high ticket offer to 100K plus per month. I'm going to give you the inside scoop, each phase of the 5 phases that really matter to scale a real high ticket offer. So this is you over here, okay? And you're probably a founder that's looking to scale your offering without getting stuck in fulfillment that's just draining your energy. You probably want to scale your distribution of content in a way that is time efficient, so you're not spending hours and hours of your day writing. And you probably want to go and actually build a business that's based on organic content, not just the ads hamster wheel. And ideally, attracting amazing customers that effortlessly enroll, and so you can spend more time working on the business and not in it. This is the dream you're after. But there's likely some problems you're facing along the way if you're watching this video. When I talk to founders that are scaling to 100K per month in their offer, first off, they're having troubles connecting their high ticket offer messaging and getting the right audience on board. What ends up happening is they attract the wrong audience, and then they're enrolling people in their offer when they're not even the right fit. So you end up then taking on clients that shouldn't even be in your offer, and this just leads to a horrible fulfillment, a horrible reputation, and honestly, a horrible life. And what you end up finding as a founder is that you're in the rat race. And, as a founder, you don't even have the time to support the founders inside of your offer. So this is a recipe for disaster. And many of you watching this are experiencing just this right now. Looking yourself in the mirror at night going, what am I doing? How do I get this business to the next level? And just finding like your mind is racing, you're overwhelmed, and not sure what the best next move is. Well, the solution I'm going to go over with you here in this video is that we're going to go and show you how to optimize your offer, right? So you can really get that scalable offer that you're after. From there, it's important that you're actually aligning your brand positioning with the offer and then your content underneath that so that it's driving the right people to you. The beautiful thing is that when you're attracting the right customer, you're able to make sure that your fulfillment actually delivers on that dream outcome for the right people. And this inevitably allows you to get your time back and enjoy your life. So I'm going to go and actually show you how to do this by using Founder OS as an example. Let's start with some background here. What sucks about most high ticket offers? Well, first off, a lot of high ticket offers, I don't know about you guys, but I've been burned in the past. I remember going and signing up for a high ticket offer. I thought it was going to be amazing. I was going to learn how to sell from stage in this particular example. And sure enough, I got going and I started working with the founder, and I was just getting hit with different links all the time, different decks. It was chaos. I had no idea what I was actually supposed to do. It was unorganized. It was overwhelming. I ended up getting out of that as soon as I got in. This is not a unique experience. I hear founders experiencing this all the time. And so what we want to make sure that you're constructing is not an offer that sucks, obviously. So first off, most offers are chaotic and they're unclear. Oftentimes inside of these offers, they are just hollow inside. The founder actually hasn't done the work to go and systemize their business and how to actually go and deliver an offer that's going to drive real results for people. In addition to that, oftentimes there's zero fulfillment, zero support, and you don't actually get access to the founder or creator behind it, which kind of sucks. Lastly, it starts to feel grimy. There's no real reputation. You just see bad taste everywhere, and you start to wonder, does this person even have good judgment? And when you sign up for an offer like that, as a customer, you end up looking around and going, oh no, and the buyer's remorse kicks in. And so when you think about then creating a real high ticket offer, I'll give you an example of then Founder OS and how we think about it. So first off, everything that we do is systemized, simple, and repeatable, right? Giving people proven, actionable results that are actually going to get them to where they're looking to go with their brand at the end of the day, right? People are looking to build founder-led brands where they have a personal media company around them. Everything is delegated and systemized in their company. They have the right team in the right seats, and they're able to achieve founder freedom, having time freedom, location freedom, and financial freedom. This is really what it's all about, right? And this is why I started and created Founder OS in the first place, which I'll show you some of the details here in just a second. Now, further to that, some important parts of a real high ticket offer are getting access not just to you, but likely the team behind the scenes so they can learn from the people that are actually surrounding you. they want to get access to you, and you need to make sure that people are getting real accountability, right? You don't want to have people that are inside of your high ticket offer and they're going through things, but then they start to meander, they get lost, and they're not sure how to get back on track. 99% of success on the fulfillment side is keeping people accountable, making sure that they're staying on track so that they can hit what they're really after. So inside of Founder OS, as you'll see, I am actually in Founder's Corner, right? This is my mission. This is what I'm really in this for, is to really help founders where they are accomplish what they're really after with their founder-led brands, and do it in a way that is systemized, that's beautiful, and that's scalable. And I've really done this, right? I'm currently operating a portfolio of companies that do over $13.8 million a year, and it's all while I get to travel the world and live my dream life. And so my belief is that the future of branding is founder-led, and people will build brands that are beautiful, thoughtful, intentional, and that it's the founder and their personality, their story, that will really lead the way. And so when we kind of go and dive into the offer side, okay, your offer is the foundation of your real high ticket offer. And you need to make sure that that offer is repeatable, it's scalable, and that you're actually enjoying it. So one of the main things that we help founders with inside of Founder OS is getting that offer scalable and getting it right. You want to be asking yourselves things like, what is your offer, right? What's that core transformation that you're driving people towards, right? Who is your target customer? You need to be crystal clear on this stuff. What problem are you solving, right? What makes your solution different than everyone else out there? And then how will solving this problem for your core customer impact their life, impact their business, right? This is going to then influence the kind of content that you create to attract people to your high ticket offer. And so in addition to that, you want to think of things like, what's the cost of not solving this problem? What price do you plan to charge for your offer, as this is key? I generally recommend that founders have no more than 2 high ticket offers. I see people with thousands of offers, sometimes hundreds, and it's just a mess, right? I think a lot of founders on average have about 12 offers across their company. And what it does is it creates like decision paralysis for their core customer, because they don't know whether to buy a $47 product, a $100 product, a $5,000 product, a $10,000. It's just overwhelming. And so I recommend that you have no more than 2. You keep it simple. You have something that's probably more super high ticket, say around $20,000, and then you have something that is high ticket around 5 to 10K, and that's it. Okay. Now it's going to depend on the niche and everything you're in, but this is just a good guideline to get going. So from there, you want to think about, well, what does success look like in 12 months for the people that are joining your high ticket offer? And then making sure that your delivery, your fulfillment, your service, your support, your education, the systems all help to deliver that core transformation. The more clear you are on exactly where you're trying to take that customer over the course of working with you, the more that you can reverse engineer that in what you're building. And so you also want to think about, what are the biggest challenges or bottlenecks, right, that your core customer is facing right now. And this is exactly what you want to speak to then in the content, which we'll get to here just in a minute. Now, I want to show you me actually rolling up my sleeves and helping a founder so you can get a sense of how we help founders really differentiate their offer. So this is me helping Bobby take his offer to the next level by having both an amazing high ticket offer and an ascension model that leads to his super high ticket longer term offer. Here it is.
I raised the prices to 15K, so I'm
Okay, here we go. We're moving.
But it's more on the limiting belief, but
it can be nerve-wracking as you go. You don't want to ruin the cash cow, but also know that you need to be making like more for what you're doing.
Exactly.
I see so many authors, and it shocks me that they don't just create content from their book afterwards.
I mean,
and you wrote their whole book, and now it's like, listen, guys, we're going to take all the best concepts for this, and we're going to actually like help you sell your book too. And like ghostwriting is like, say, 4 to 6K a month, maybe, like depending on how you want to do it, right? Okay. So you have your front end that's like 15 to 20K, your back end that's like 48K to 72K.
That'd be wild. I mean, that'd be amazing.
Yeah.
I love where we're going with this. It makes it feel so much better than me overcomplicating with podcasts and speaking engagements.
When I do this stuff, especially with the offer that you have right now, like the reason why I think this offer that we're just cooking up here, Bobby, is like really, really powerful is because you making your social really good and nailing your strategy really good and getting your profile, your newsletter, all that people are going to want that. And so like that is the sales to your authors. So it's cool because you just get paid to like be really creative with your own shit.
Absolutely. Right. Exactly. That's why I'm like, oh man, I really need to get this together. And see what happened was when I started like reaching out to people cold, I saw that they were going to my LinkedIn. I didn't even have a LinkedIn. And then also my website. I was like, I need to get my social proof going on. Now with this back end offer coming, I'm like, I need to make my own LinkedIn,
Yeah, yeah,
I'll
yeah.
be good.
It's good.
You know?
Yeah, no, it'll get you excited by it. And I think it'll really give you the juice you need to like really get ripping.
Exactly. Yeah, no, it just inspires me even more. Build my own LinkedIn and just have that sole focus. Oh, I love it. Thank you so much.
You have my number too, so you can message me anytime and we'll
Appreciate it.
just go from there, Bobby.
Thank you so much, Matt. Really
Of
appreciate it.
course. Now that you've gotten a bit clearer on your actual offer, right? You should go and actually answer these questions, pause this video, and write this down for what you're building. You can go and construct your brand positioning. For me, I look at the brand positioning formula. This is how I've always constructed the brand positioning for any business that I've created over the last 15 years building profitable companies. So first off, you want to go and nail your thesis, okay, which I'll show you an example here in a second. Secondly, you want to go and outline the 2 to 3 things that then deliver on that thesis. And third, you want to go and outline your core mechanism that is the best way to actually achieve your thesis. So an example here with Founder OS is that our brand positioning, right, is that the best way to build an online business is a personal brand. Secondly, right, you need to build a personal brand that is beautiful and systemized. And the only way to build a sustainable personal brand is with a content GPS system with Founder OS. This is our brand positioning statement. And then this goes and influences the kind of content that we create. So we'll whip over here. So when we're going and building content GPSs inside of founders' businesses, in summary, it consists of these 4 elements, right? We're helping them set up their organic content waterfall, making sure that they have the right sales process leading from platforms like YouTube, X, LinkedIn, Instagram, driving people to their core offer, oftentimes setting up a sales page, a VSL, and making sure they have the right call to actions across all platforms. This then converts people to the core offer that we're generally helping founders build that scalable offer inside of Founder OS. People come to me all the time. They've got an offer to about 80,000, but that's not the same offer and the same structure that's going to get them to that next stage. And oftentimes there's parts of it that are not scalable. There's parts of it that are just draining the founder's energy. They find themselves staying up at night, stressing because they want to grow, but the offer that they're sitting on just will not allow them to do that. And it's not working, right? It is just not working. And so one of the solutions to this is getting your content right to make sure that you're attracting the right people. So the question to ask yourself when you're creating your content is, what's the one thing that your core customer is doing right now that's not working in each area that your offer delivers on? So for me, as an example, I ask myself, what is not working right now for a founder when they're creating organic content? And the answer to that is they don't have it systemized. They don't have a clear content strategy. They're just putting content out there sporadically. What's the one thing that's holding them back from a proper sales process? They've got a sales process that had worked so far. They're deeply involved in it, but they want to go and bring on a head of sales. They want to find a more reliable team. They want to close more consistently versus being on this roller coaster ride of revenue. On the conversion side, right, they're posting content sporadically. They don't have the right CTA set up. They don't have it systemized so that leads sometimes come in and then they dry up. And they're tired of this roller coaster, same thing on the lead side of their business. And lastly, on their offer, they're finding that while it scaled them to around 80K per month, it feels like if they were doing that same offer at 250K per month, it would break. And they're not sure which part of that offer to fix, and they need some support, some guidance, and someone to actually be there to roll up their sleeves to support them. This is exactly what I talk about in my content. Let me show you a couple examples here. And so on Instagram, as an example, right? I know that people have these sorts of problems, and these are the sort of issues that are really paining my audience, right? So I speak to these on Instagram, right? This is some content around the truth about pricing your high ticket offer, right? People are trying to hit those 200K, 300K months, but they feel like their pricing's off. And so in content, I'll go and address those sorts of problems to go and help attract people to what I'm building and get them to share this also with other founders they know that may be experiencing these exact issues. Similarly over here, right? There's a lot of founders out there, like I'd identified, that aren't even using organic content. They've been relying on ads, building their business solely off of cold traffic, and it gets exhausting, right? You're not actually building an asset that's self-sustaining around your business. Instead, you're just relying on pumping out ads. And I address this in a lot of my content, speaking to those exact pain points and problems that founders are experiencing, right? So when you go and you put this sort of content out there, it's almost like a bat symbol you're shining into the air, and you're attracting people that have those exact problems. And when you can speak to the problem, to the pain that your core customer is going through in your content, you're going to attract people that want your help solving just that. So very key there. Okay. So you may be saying, I don't really know how to go and even create the content. Matt, I'm not sure even what the problems are with my core audience. Well, the cool thing is you can survey your audience. You can survey your dream customers. You can survey your existing customers. So this is an example here of a Typeform survey I've put out, right? So at FounderOS, right, we're trying to create the greatest founder community of the 21st century. And so you can go and ask your core customers things like, what challenge in your business right now is costing you the most money? Then go and tally up all of those different survey responses and look for the patterns. For me, I see people that are struggling with ads right now and it's costing them a ton of money. I see people making the wrong hire and it's costing them a ton. I see founders that are really looking to systemize their business but are struggling to set up those systems and find themselves being the chief everything officer, not the actual CEO. And so what we want to do is help people run a more zen business. So all of the content that you'll see across all of my social platforms, whether it's LinkedIn, on YouTube, on Instagram, they speak to these core pain points. So if we look on YouTube here, you can look at some of my recent videos. I've gone and put out content that really helps folks, like the top 1% of CEOs, really go and systemize their businesses, or helping people find new ways to go and drive their audience from organic to actual paying customers. Similarly, I show actual coaching sessions that I'm having with founders like Lincoln here, who is a founder inside of FounderOS Plus, so people can see a behind the scenes look at what it actually looks like to work with me in FounderOS. And so the content and the purpose of the content is to speak to the problems and to the pain points of your core customer and what they are experiencing right now, and then kind of usher them into working with you by really showing that you have a deep understanding of those problems. Okay? That is the key. So as we go here, there are core CTAs that you'll see in all of my content. So here's an example at the bottom of a YouTube video. You'll see and have the opportunity to go and apply to FounderOS or join my newsletter. And so you'll see that actually underneath this video as well. If what I'm going over here sounds interesting to you and you're interested in getting my help, my team's help in scaling your business, go and check out that link below. We'll get on a call with you, learn what you're really trying to do with your brand, and help you get there. So all of those links lead to either my newsletter or directly to an apply page to apply to FounderOS. So people join my newsletter, right? This is key because then I actually own my audience. I'm not relying solely on social platforms. I actually have an email list that I own and that I control. From there, we can drive people in our emails to core CTAs. And those CTAs generally go to founderos.com/training. This page has a VSL on it, and that VSL gives people an understanding of how it works, what we do, and it really gives people an impression of, what FounderOS is really all about. Now, inside of that, there's an application. If we deem that someone's qualified through the automations inside of that application, we then allow them to book a time with me or with my team. On those calls, we get to know them, what they're really after, and we try to assess if it's a good fit to work with us. So when it comes in, this is a small part, but this is a big thing. The beauty is a lot of founders don't have any funnels or email automation set up. And so depending on the different pieces of the application, we go and grade different folks that come through that application and determine their fit for FounderOS. And if you're building a real high ticket offer, you need to make sure that you have your email automations set up like this. So we have things like application pages, right, with abandoned application emails that go out if someone abandons the application. We have our book a call page and different flows there that drive people to the call. And then also if they abandon a call or don't show, we have email automations that go out around that. And what these are essentially ensuring is that your funnel is tight. Because if you're running something, right, you know that leads are valuable, right? When you're building organic content, when you're running ads, you want to make sure that you're not wasting leads. And a lot of people have a messy funnel. It's all over the place. They can't measure the conversion rates. They don't know what metrics to track. They're really confused at the breakage points along the way. And if you don't have the right sequences and tracking in place, you are just going to be bleeding cash flows and leaving so much money on the table. And so what you can see here is that I have inside of each of my offers a core sequence of emails that go out to make sure that we're not only capturing leads over here and then ushering them through the funnel, but also when they are onboarded, we have a whole sequence of emails go to make sure that they can find their way around the systems, the curriculum, the support that we offer inside of Founder OS. Okay. And so we have things like emails around their accountability calls. We have emails around different roadmap calls we do, and making sure that every step of the way, they're being notified not only by a founder success manager that we have on our team, who's working with them one-to-one to give them the support, the guidance, the implementation that they need to take their brand, their content, their personal media company to the next level. But we also have these emails so that they're being hit up across multiple platforms by the FSM on Zoom. They're hearing from the FSM in one-to-one in Slack, and then they're also getting emails that are automated depending on the stage that they're at. So this sort of email sequence funnel is really important, okay? It's going to allow you to make sure that you're getting the most from the leads and the traffic that you're driving to your business. Now, as we continue to progress here, this all feeds into your sales pitch, because when you're creating the right content that speaks to the actual pain points that your dream customer has right now, you're attracting the right people. And you don't need to force these people to work with you. They're begging to work with you, right? And so after you've done your discovery, on a sales call, learning more about what their desire is, their pain point, their doubt, their cost, from there, you're going to go and obviously transition after about 20 minutes of discovery to your actual pitch. So in our case, right, our pitch at Founder OS is all around helping folks with their content GPS, getting their positioning right, helping them with scroll stopping content, and then setting up that content GPS in their business. From there, we really sell the fact that people get access to me and a dedicated founder success manager, right? This is what I've been doing for the last 15 years, growing brands solely from organic content. My passion is really helping other founders with just that, getting their content right, growing on social platforms, getting the CTAs right to drive people to sales calls, making sure their positioning is right so they can scale their business the same way that we've scaled our business at Founder OS and that I've scaled multiple other businesses like BitMaker as well as Herb. And so the main goal that we're setting up for founders and that our content drives founders to us with is that founders want to come to us to build their personal media company. Okay. And so we have the systems, we have the support, the access to me that helps founders go and get their writer in place, get a social manager, really learn how to structure their team so they can remove themselves from the operations and work on the business, not inside it all the time. And this is what I think most founders are really after. I know that I've been building businesses all along to get freedom. I want to travel. I want to go to Bali, Japan, Colombia. That's what it's all about. And so for us, we set up these sort of systems. We help embed hires into companies so that people can go and get that level of peace of mind. Here's an example of someone named Lisa that I've helped with over the last year do just this, and hear what she has to say. Anything else, y'all?
I just want to say, thanks to you, we have our ops manager.
Judging by the energy and tone of your voice, you sound much more peaceful and more relaxed.
Oh my God.
Doing their job.
So we've had 4 VAs, but I had become the ops manager, which was just taking me away from everything that I love to do. I mean, I'm a good events manager, I'm a good ops manager, but really I just wanted to be teaching and writing. And so anyway, every day I'm like, thank God for Matt, because the process inside Founder OS of that onboarding process, the I mean, even just getting really clear on what we needed and who we needed it to be was really invaluable. So I just want to say that out loud. It's made a huge difference. And I would encourage anyone who's teetering on that, do I invest in someone, that greatly? I think has been a really great move for us.
All right, so we've covered a little bit on optimizing your offer, your brand positioning, and your content, but let's get to the real belly of the beast. It's fulfillment, which is a big piece of things. And so your fulfillment is key. This is where most high-ticket offers fall apart. People start marketing it, making content for it. It's all over the place, and the fulfillment is a disaster. And not just for your customer, but for you as a founder, right? You are just a sloppy mess, to be honest. And so there are 4 aspects to fulfillment that most people talk about, right? It's things like access to you as the founder and your team. It's community and experiences. It's the education and the systems you have behind the scene, and then support. But I actually like to break this out into 2 separate diamonds, which we'll get into here. On the left side here, you have things like systems, experiences, access, and support. And then over here, you have things like your intention, your reputation, your taste, and your leadership. So let's start with the left here, okay? The left here represents more the hard skills and the hard aspect of fulfillment, right? The core things that you're going to deliver on. And so let's get into it here. With Founder OS as an example, we're helping people build what I believe is the most beautiful business model in the world. How I classify everything that I do in business, it really has to achieve these 17 criteria. I want it to be peaceful, right? So I want to have a team that's being retained for 3+ years. I don't want to have any refunds around my business. I want it to be fun to deliver on and have a fun team around me. I want each part of my business to be a hell yes. I want the entire model to be insanely simple, right? Simplicity is the ultimate form of sophistication. I want it to be easy to sell, right? The offer has to be so good that someone can't help but buy. I want there to be amazing longevity with what I'm building, right? I see too many founders that are doing something that they can't even imagine themselves doing it 2 years later because they're burning themselves out and they just hate it, but they're just doing it for the money today. The truth is, though, building a business, it really happens over the long term. And you got to make sure, in my opinion, that you're making decisions that you can actually see yourself doing for the next 10 years, not just the next 10 months. In addition to that, I like to build businesses that generate endless referrals and endless positive reviews, right? You can actually go and check out our Trustpilot over here, and you can see all the amazing reviews that we're generating every single day. Whether it's via Trustpilot or via software like testimonial.to, it's important that you're building a business that people are raving about, because people don't buy what you sell, they buy what other people want to buy. In addition to that, you want to make sure that each part of what you're doing is scalable, right? That you're not just building something that you can only sell 10 of, because if you have goals of getting to 100K plus per month, you need to make sure that what you're building is scalable and repeatable. In addition to that, one thing I'm big on is that you have a viral loop, that as you get more people in what you're doing, they're sharing it on social, they're telling their friends, that you're generating an enormous amount of business through word of mouth. In addition to that, I want to be working with people I love. So, in Founder OS, we give people access to the same people I work with, right? And allow them to go and bring these people onto their businesses. And a key thing is that you don't just want great people, you want to work with people that you actually enjoy working with so that your work feels like play. At the end of the day, you want to make sure that you're loving the customer, right? Because if you're going to business every day and you just dread going and serving someone, that's a horrible business to be in, okay? You want to build something that you're proud of, that you can work from anywhere, that feels easy. So I think when you've gone and you've achieved, these 17 criteria, you've really achieved this beautiful business. And so these are the sort of systems that we help people go and set up, helping them get the right traffic to their business, making sure that they have all of their web pages optimized to actually convert that traffic to sales calls or directly to product sales, making sure they have their product suite up and running, they have the right content GPS system going proper. So in our case at Founder OS, we have a thesis video, an apply page, and then 2 products that we offer, right? This is what I recommend for most founders, and we help founders set up this same sort of system in their business. You then need to make sure that you have the right team in place, right? The truth is that most founders don't just want to be building a personal brand, you want to be building a personal media company. And so This means that you have core weapons across each area of your business, so you're not doing everything yourself, right? It's exhausting when you're growing a business. And if you're the chief everything officer, then sure enough, one day you're just gonna quit. You're gonna pack it in because you can't keep operating like that long term. And so a key part is not just the systems that we deliver inside of this real high ticket offer, it's also the talent that we help connect people with so that they can build their beautiful business. And so as we work through this, this is exactly what we deliver inside of Founder OS. So when you go and look here, inside of the Founder OS Plus online community, we have, founders constantly sharing their wins. You can see people hitting new revenue milestones, starting on social platforms and scaling them at record speed, them going and keeping each other accountable, attending the different experiences that we have around the world, like, in Bali and Mexico City, Sedona, and really going and supporting one another. Our belief inside of the Founder OS community is that we are stronger together. And so it's founders supporting one another, building their online businesses and building founder-led brands. Now, a big part of this is also having the right systems in place. And so inside of Founder OS, I give people all the core systems that I've used to scale my empires. And so inside of this, you see, as an example, how to go and scale your own personal media company. So I have short videos here that describe how I structure my team, how I hire writers, how I hire a social media manager, how I bring on chief of staffs that go and manage my calendar and all the different special projects that we have going on, how I hire designers, closers, setters, copywriters. And not only do we show people how to go and hire for these roles, we help them with their onboarding and help them connect with the right talent. So again, that these founders are able to set up their own personal media companies. A key thing that when you're building your own real high ticket offer, right, is that you need to make sure that you have a core mechanism. When you have the right mechanism, right, that really encapsulates what your ideal customer is truly trying to accomplish, that mechanism then helps you go and attract people that are actually aligned with what you offer. So your messaging becomes aligned with the right audience. You're enrolling people who are actually an amazing fit for what you do. You start taking on clients that you genuinely want to serve. You then have fulfillment that over delivers, right? Because that mechanism truly helps people with that pain point, solve their problem, and achieve a solution that they really need. And what this gives you time to do is actually just enjoy life and focus on the parts that you love, because you have the right people coming to you from the right content, finding the right solution, and it all just runs peacefully. This is, I think, what most founders are after, and this is really what we help people with inside of Founder OS. So for me, as an example, our core mechanism is called the Content GPS. The Content GPS is the most powerful system I've ever discovered to drive people from a personal media company across platforms like X, LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and drive those people to your owned audience, whether that's in your email list, text messages, right? You can go and then drive people from those owned platforms, your email list and text message, to then driving those people to hot leads, going and converting them to your offer, mostly during sales calls, and then having those people become loyal customers that then are telling their friends, and it creates this founder flywheel in your business where you have the right customer coming in, getting insane value from what you offer, going and telling more people because they were so blown away from your over delivery of what they were expecting. And they go tell their friends because they were so impressed. When you have this flywheel in your business, you have a real high ticket offer. And so for me, the Content GPS really works in any niche, right? We help people that are in coaching, courses, agency owners, e-com, SaaS, consulting. It doesn't matter. For us, our core thing is that we're helping people, again, with their founder-led brand, with organic content, setting up their own personal media company and systemizing it along the way so they can work on their business and not in it. That's how we position what we are doing. We're not trying to do everything to everyone, right? We really focus on that zone of genius, this bundle of stuff that I've really perfected of 15 years building strictly organic audiences. And if founders want that, we work with them. If founders don't want that, we say no. And that's a key aspect, right? You need to make sure that you're clear on what you do and what you don't do. For me, I know that if you're just looking for some quick get money scheme, this is not for you. I know that if people are questioning the value of a brand, then the Content GPS is not for them. Similarly, if they're not looking for a proven system, they just want to wing it on their own, then we turn those people away. But on the other side of things, if they're looking for a proven system, if they're looking for real support, if they want to make an actual impact and stop being so stuck in their business and have the ability to work on their business, then the Content GPS and what we've got going on over here at FounderOS is right for you. So let's get into the support side of things. Support in every high ticket offer will look different. I think you want to make sure that you are actually delivering, though, on the level of accountability, the level of one-to-one interaction that people need to feel like you really have their back. So inside of FounderOS, we give people access to our founder success managers via Slack. I'm there and even giving my WhatsApp to many founders, helping them via there. And then also on School. And so to give you a sense, this is School. You can see all of the different messages that I'm getting from founders every day. And I'm in here all day, every day, checking this multiple times, making sure that founders are taken care of because we genuinely care about helping people hit their goals. Inside of this, people are asking me questions about scaling their YouTube. Here you can actually see Ollie is asking if I want to go and meet up with him here in Brooklyn. So we'll go hang with him. You want to make sure that the support that you're offering really delivers on what people are really coming to you for, which oftentimes isn't just the education, it's the community, it's the access to you, the proximity to you as the founder, the creator of the high ticket offer. I wake up every morning, I check the messages I've gotten from founders, I go and make sure that I'm giving founders the support that they really need so that they're getting to actually interact with me as the creator of this, because I think that's important, right? And so I'm going and making sure that people are scaling their YouTube right. I'll even review people's YouTube videos to make sure that their scripting is right, their titles, their thumbnails. So I'm getting my hands dirty, helping founders scale their businesses inside of FounderOS, which I think is super important. So when it comes to other access, right, you want to go and think about what is your offer really going to hang its hat on. So for FounderOS as an example, we go and give you direct access to me and my team, so you're never stuck, never alone, and always supported as you build your systemized, scalable, founder-led brand. This is the level of service that we pride ourselves on in FounderOS, and so everything that we offer inside of the delivery side of FounderOS must deliver on that core delivery mission statement. Too many founders overpromise and underdeliver with their high-ticket offer, and while that might be good for a couple months, the word gets out eventually and people get upset, right? You need to make sure that you are over-delivering, that you're building something with integrity, with a great reputation. This is what it's all about, right? Is building something you're actually proud of. And so inside of FounderOS, we give people access to mentorship sessions with me, where I'm covering things like, how to create your content calendar, how to delegate, how to create funnel maps, how to film yourself, how to write online. I'm actually giving demos of exactly how I do these things and then answering questions multiple times a week from the community live on these calls. Here you can go see a couple clips of exactly what those look like. What I try to do is I try to always think about what hires can I make that are just such a no-brainer that at the minimum these people are worth what I'm paying for them. This is like this delegation math system, right? Say I'm looking to bring on a social media manager as an example. Say the social media manager is going to save me 20 hours a week initially or 80 hours a month. I put 80 hours there because that's the time saved per month. Then it's, okay, well, what's my hourly rate as a CEO? Well, let's just say early on, I could get on sales calls and say I'm Adrian, right? He's going to go, let's just say he was selling his thing for $5,000. The margin's 50%. The revenue he could generate an hour is $5,000. Now, the cost of the new hire for a social media manager, let's say it's $8,000. And some of you guys may say, I can get someone so much cheaper, but let's just use $8,000 for the example here, right? Because we want a real weapon, someone insanely talented. 80 hours saved a month. He's going to reallocate that time to being to selling these people into his program. The cost of hire is $8,000. So the revenue per month of that reallocated time, right, is those 80 hours times 5,000, which equals 400,000. Say his profit margin was 50%. His profit on that's like 200 grand. His profit after the hire, 200 grand minus the 8K, is 192K. So his return on the $8,000 is 24x. Now let's just say Adrian's like, bullshit, man, I'm not spending that much time on sales calls. Well, let's just say he even spent a quarter of that on sales calls. He was on 20 hours of sales calls in the month because he's now free from doing social media stuff. He still generates a 5x return on that hire. To be clear here, guys, in this example, all I'm filling in is the yellow spaces. And if you know the yellow, the rest just calculates itself. When it comes to support, there are many ways that you can offer support inside of your high ticket offer fulfillment. One-to-ones, messaging, group calls, in-person support, or even things like customer success managers. In our case, we call them founder success advisors. These are folks that are rolling up their sleeve on one-to-one calls and in one-to-one Slack support with founders, helping them scale their own personal media empire. Now, go and check out my good friend Sean, one of the founder success advisors here at FounderOS, actually helping a real founder with their business.
Systems scale better, the people. How can I build my marketing, my messaging, everything so that if I had to do this without a sales call, like how would I get them so convinced? And that's just a good frame of reference where then eventually, like if you think about it like that, then your marketing is covering like all of this space. Then when you plug people into it, so you plug a closer, it means that your hiring that you do going forward is you don't actually have to rely on talent as much. You just have to rely on like good scripting and basically giving people just layups like all the time. That will scale so much better if you can kind of think about it.
Super valuable. So I totally agree.
When you're trying to over deliver, you want to go and think about all of the intricacies that are going to go and help your core customer get to what they're really trying to do. And so for us, a big thing that founders are looking to do is go and scale their own personal media company. So we go and help them with access to people like copywriters, engineers, social writers for X and LinkedIn, a chief of staff so they can go and delegate more of their operations, an executive assistant so they can buy more of their time back, people like long-form video editors and short-form video editors to scale on platforms like Instagram and on YouTube, YouTube producers, YouTube scriptwriters as they're looking to scale their YouTube engine, and also people like newsletter writers so that as you're going to go and own more of your audience, oftentimes founders don't want to be doing all of their email writing themselves, and so we'll connect them with reliable talent that way. In addition to that, right, we have daily instructor sessions with my team. These are the exact people that have gone and helped me scale my own personal media company. And so people don't only get access to me twice per week inside of FounderOS, they also get access to my team of legends. What I call this is really thinking about going and open sourcing your team, right? You've got a team of weapons likely in your business that could spend part of their time actually delivering the growth that you're after in your company, but then also going and providing some value by teaching for maybe an hour or two a week with the people that you're serving. That way, you don't need to go and scale your headcount a bunch and can run a lean, mean empire. You know, I even have my COO at times getting on calls with founders to help them go and scale up their systems. Here, you can go and see a couple clips from Dawn, the COO on my team, helping founders and blowing some minds.
How valuable was this last hour to you?
Probably the most valuable I've had all of my life, to be fair. I know that this is something I've been missing, but it's like your community or like people that understand and how you think and where you're at. Because that was a big thing in my head, and the selling point for this, it was, well, you guys are doing it, you're where I want to be, so you're the advice I want to be taking.
In addition to that, right, we have the digital community side of things inside of FounderOS, where founders are sharing wins, supporting one another, helping people with the intricacies of scaling founder-led brands. And then we have these epic experiences that we run all over the world, in Austin, in Mexico City, and in Sedona. Next one is in Bali. You're definitely going to want to check that out. Here's what founders are saying about our experiences.
I would highly recommend Matt's Gray's Mastermind to really any founder.
A group like this, you know that they're going to draw individuals that have that same passion for what they do. It just makes you desire to be the best at what you do, even if others are in a completely different field.
If you come to a FounderOS retreat, you're going to leave refreshed, you're going to have new friendships, a network of people.
I know that whenever the founder and Nat puts an event together, it's going to attract really high caliber people. And they're the people I want to be around.
So as you're going and delivering on the fulfillment side of your company, you want to make sure that you've systemized your fulfillment from front to back so that over the course of the entire duration that someone's with you, their mind is blown and they are incredibly satisfied and happy that they made the decision to work with you. So let me show you what this looks like. So inside of FounderOS, one of the key people that we help is a time optimizer, a founder that's looking to get more of their time back so they can have more freedom in life. So these are people that are looking to free up their time by installing systems that remove themselves from daily operations. And so oftentimes the goals of these folks are things like freeing up 20 hours per week by optimizing their time management. They want to implement core systems to remove operational bottlenecks. They want to be able to create a 4-hour workday structure for themselves and be able to delegate tasks effectively to key hires and then automate their workflows to maintain efficiency while they're scaling. But the challenges that we find a lot of these folks are experiencing is that they're constantly overwhelmed by day-to-day tasks. They're struggling to delegate without losing quality, and they're unclear on how to structure a lean but efficient team. This causes them to really get caught up in things like reactive work instead of the strategic growth that they really need to be doing. And they don't really have a clear execution plan for how to automate and scale their business. And so the key aha moments that we help people with is showing them they don't need to do everything, right? Time really isn't their problem. It's their lack of systems that are holding them back. And in order to delegate, they need the right systems, they need the right onboarding, and they need to obviously be sourcing the right talent that can actually relieve them of their workload. But when they're able to do this, they can focus on much higher level tasks that are going to give them more leverage and help them truly experience the growth that they're really after. In addition to that, scaling starts to become a thing that they don't need to work harder, right? They really just need to design smarter workflows, and we help them on the ground floor design these workflows inside of their businesses. And so to do this, right, we help people with their time audit system. We help them delegate and create systems. We help them set up their personal media company, right? So that these folks can go in over 30, 60, and 90 days achieve the level of delegation they're after, go and construct their personal media company, become an actual CEO that has a peaceful operation around them versus being lost and burnt out. And then helping them achieve core wins, like getting more of their time back, running a lean, mean, effective team, and reducing their workload as well. Now, our goal with all of this is that we're helping founders so much that they can't help but share their experience and tell more friends. And so we include exactly, the kind of result that we're looking to drive founders to. And so that all of the founder success managers on my team are effectively aiming at getting a founder to say something like this, I just cut my work hours by 40% in 60 days thanks to the systems I installed with Founder OS. If you're tired of working nonstop, you need this. So we want to go and reverse engineer that sort of statement from someone inside of Founder OS because they're so satisfied with how we're doing things. From there, we've even mapped out the ideal testimonial that we want people saying when they're inside of Founder OS. I learned this from Jeff Bezos. Whenever they go and launch a new product, they start with the press release. So they're basically starting with the end in mind and knowing how do they want, the press to talk about this product when it's launched. And then they go and reverse engineer that exact product, that they've written about. And so the same thing goes here. We are writing the testimonial before a founder has even joined us so that we can then reverse engineer that exact emotional state and satisfaction that we're trying to get someone to. And so inside of this then, all of our coaching, all of the proactive consulting that we're doing with founders is really helping achieve that founder's core goal. And so we've mapped that out from front to back. And this is what we do with things like our time audit and helping them set up their own personal media company. So I can show you here, this is the time audit system. We help founders go and audit their time, their schedule over the past month so they can see what they've really been dedicating their time to. The core thing is that the devil's in the details. And if you're looking to gain more time freedom, you need to look at where you're actually spending your time. From there, we go and fill out this time audit system so that a founder can get clarity on, where are they spending their meetings? Who on their team is requiring the most management? What are the areas of their business that they should be getting off their plate because it's lower than their true hourly rate? So when you have clarity around where you're spending your time, you're able to delegate the stuff that you should not be worrying about. You can eliminate stuff that you shouldn't be doing in the first place, and then automating pieces of the business that some tech could do much better than you. So the time audit system is just one of 180 systems that we can help founders with inside of Founder OS. And the cool thing is that we're not making founders do all this stuff. We're going and getting them to work on the right system at the right time so it's not overwhelming. That's why we have the founder success advisors that are essentially guides while a founder is inside of Founder OS. As we go and then think about the softer side of things, I like to think about too, when you're building a real high ticket offer, you need to nail, what is your true intention here? What is your reputation that will support your high ticket offer and the brand you're creating? How does your taste really exemplify it and build trust with people? And then how do you show that you're a real leader in the space? Because I don't think it's just about having the hard skills. It's also about having the brand to match. When you look at the high ticket space, I think 99% of the space just looks sketchy, right? There's a lot of messy brands, founders that have no idea what they're doing, and a lot of dicey things. And so you want to make sure first off that you have the right reputation and that your brand online exemplifies that. So here you can see, a bunch of amazing testimonials that we've gotten around Founder OS. You can check out our Trustpilot to see tons of those. And we're really big about helping founders really go and build their own personal media company. And there's tons of examples of founders going and saying how much what we've done inside of Founder Us has really changed their life. Here's just a few examples.
With the help of my success coach, we've been able to craft a higher ticket offer, create it into an agency. And now our biggest problem is we can't handle the leads.
He definitely has the business acumen, but he also shares content around the well-being of founders.
I've worked with other CEOs and founders and coaches and gurus, and it's always been so aggressive. And Matt and his team, everybody is just so aligned, so soulful, but everyone is creating monetary results as well.
Beyond your reputation, right? You really want to be thinking too about, what's your intention, and making sure that people understand why you actually went and built your offer in the first place. I talk a lot online about how a number of years ago, I discovered my ikigai, that my calling in life, why I actually exist here on earth. And for me, it was things like building systems, helping founders with distribution on day one, helping them build a team of A players in their business, and really viewing entrepreneurship as a soulful journey, this opportunity to build, a peaceful life, a peaceful empire, a peaceful team, have fun, building cool things with people that you actually enjoy. This intention is really exemplified not just in how I deliver the offer, it's exemplified in all of my content, in the travels that I have, and sharing my journey, and giving people behind the scenes of what I'm up to, the good, the bad, what's working, what's not working, the playbooks, the systems, the stories. I try to just be an open book and open source everything that I've learned. And from doing this, I'm really exemplifying to people that, my intentions here are pure. I genuinely wake up to serve founders, to help them systemize their businesses, and to be able to build personal media companies that help them go and attract leads through organic traffic, not having to rely on paid ads or having to get lost on some content hamster wheel. So this is why I actually built my offer. And I'm curious, why did you build your offer? You want to make sure that you're going and telling that story, telling your mission, your vision, your why, so you're attracting people that are really called to work with someone just like you. So don't lose track of that. Your intentions matter. In addition, something I don't think that gets talked about enough is taste, right? Taste, I think, is the ultimate competitive advantage. There's a lot of people in the high ticket space that when you look at their website, you look at their content, it's salesy, it's kind of gross. And you have an opportunity to really separate yourself from the pack by creating content that is genuinely beautiful and that's tasteful. Because I think beauty exemplifies the level of attention to detail and your own intentions behind why you created something. If someone can create a thoughtful brand, chances are they can also probably create a thoughtful product, a thoughtful service, right? Your brand matters. Every decision that we make at Founder Us is brand first. We will always think about the brand reputation and the longevity of the brand over everything, because without a brand, I believe that we are nothing. So you can see this across all platforms, whether it's like Instagram, the content that we create is beautiful. It's dialed in. We're making sure that our content displays the real core sentiments of the brand, that, we stand for freedom in creating this aspirational brand, almost like what Apple has done for creatives, what Nike's done for athletes, we're trying to do for founders. In addition to that, I'm giving people behind the scenes at how we do things, letting them to see behind the scenes of different coaching sessions with founders inside of OS Plus. And so if they feel like they really resonate with what I'm putting out there, they're going to join us and join the movement. In addition to that, like I've mentioned, I go and make sure the content is really hitting the nail on the head in terms of the actual problems that my core customer is having. And I don't just go and put this out in a way that feels like garbage, right? We're putting a lot of intention behind this, into the design, the copywriting, the look and feel of it, so that we're breeding confidence in the end consumer versus making them confused. Because the truth is, when you put stuff out there that's confusing or gross, you build anxiety in the end consumer. And when you build anxiety, they're just going to close their wallets and they will not have confidence in what you're building. So as you see here, it's not just on Instagram, it's also in all of my LinkedIn content, right? So we're going and putting out content that is unique, that speaks directly to the end consumer, helping them with the problems we know they have and helping them take their business, their empire to the next level. We come up with different formats that are new, that are different, because I'm not looking to be better than other people. I want to be different, right? We want to show people that our mission is different. We want to show people that our intentions are different. that our design is different, that our brand, it's different. We're not like everyone else you see out there, right? We are actually about helping you and about creating something that's enduring, not just for a year from now or 2 years. I want to do this until I die. And I'm passionate about genuinely serving the founders that we work with. And so taste, I think, is a big thing. It's not just about building leadership through your content, but it's also what people are seeing in and around your brand. And so I want to show you some examples of this. Here's one clip of me actually going and helping Ali Abdal with his content and helping him get his business to $5 million a year.
What do you think are the chances that this will work?
100%.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn.
100% this works. Like there's nothing.
I need to move to Dubai and hang out with you guys more. If this actually works, then like the fact that we've documented this whole process.
Off, it will work.
It's going to be so sick.
When this works, it will be sick.
It will be absolutely sick.
And over here, you're going to see another clip of me actually having Hormozi on my podcast to jam around the future of personal brands.
I think we live in a totally different day and age now. There's a lot of people out there that just can't see the ROI to this.
Yeah.
They're like, why am I doing this? I'm going to lose all my privacy. I lose all this. And like, what for?
Right off the bat, I don't think everyone should be famous. I don't think everyone should build a personal brand. I don't think everyone should anything. You can do whatever you want. I do think that from a money-making perspective, it is a time warp. You can just go way faster.
Mm-hmm.
And just one more example here is I actually flew out to Idaho recently to go and help Russell and his team with his organic content funnel.
At a high level, how I look at all content is what we call like a content waterfall. A content waterfall is essentially like a system that you can use to go and turn like one core piece of content into like 32 or more other pieces of content. At a high level, I'm always trying to look to like maximize the content that I've already put out there, leverage all that material versus defaulting to new. These days, I try to, as much as possible, default to like, what have I already said around this, right? Because I'm pretty sure I've said the things, I've done the things. I don't want to just default to having to do it all over again.
And it's not just what I've done, today. It's also the background of experience that I have. Not just building Founder OS. I exited my first company, BitMaker, when I was 24 years old. In addition to that, I currently am the CEO and founder of Herb as well, which is the largest cannabis community in the world, where we help brands really transform their cannabis marketing by getting in front of the most engaged cannabis audience in the world. This is a business I've been building the last 10 years. We've grown it to over 1 million people on Instagram, over 10 million people on Facebook, all through organic content in one of the hardest and trickiest spaces out there. Cannabis is no joke. It is a difficult industry. And so I've been able to build this compliant platform with over 14 million people. We have millions of emails we've collected, and we help people almost like a Google for weed. Brands can come to us. They can get clear, trackable metrics that help them understand how they're attracting, collecting, engaging, and converting people from our audience to their product or their service. And so we've been able to build this incredible business over the last decade that's a leader in the space, working with the best brands in that industry and providing them with detailed, trackable, and measurable results. So in a sense, what I've built with Herb is one part, allowing people to go and tap into this amazing audience. And then the other side, we also have this insane analytics platform that allows people to track from, audience through to conversion and be able to measure the return on their advertising spend with us. This serves as a proof point that the systems that I'm building have not only worked in the education space or in the tech space or in the cannabis space, that they can work for founders no matter what industry they're in, which gives founders confidence that I know what I'm doing because I've built SaaS businesses off of organic content. I've built, education businesses, course businesses, consulting businesses. All of these different industries can benefit from having their own content GPS. So this is how to go and build a real high ticket offer in your niche. This is all about, an amazing experience, undeniable support, and over delivering to people so they go and tell all their friends. If you want my help and my team's help going and scaling your offer, be sure to go and apply via the link in the description. Thanks so much for watching this. Like and subscribe, and welcome to the Founder Freedom Movement.